Hi everyone. Assalamu alaikum. How are you dears? All are fine? Okay. Today we are with your English, right? Okay, then which is the last chapter? Then which we discussed in our last class? Yes, Bebin Chowdhury's, right? Bebin Chowdhury's lapse of memory, losing of memory, and everything. Is it right? That means all the proofs against Baby Chowdhury. Talk about against of which proof? Yes, journey to where? Listen all of you. Okay, speedily. I know that speedily. Just read that chapter. Just read that chapter speedily. Speed up. All of you just from first. Only I think 1.5. Speed up all of you. Speed up. Just read speedily. Okay, speed up, which are the things happen. You already read, I know that. Anyway, for my sake, just read speedily. Talk about Ranchis. Talk about journey to Ranchi, Perumal Ghosh. Then give me lay cut a knee, cut upon the knee, a right knee, and turn your page. Accommodation. Then give me. Yes. Family matters and our comprehension check. Then Hudjo Falls. Give me. Okay, then decide again, talk about again, think about him. Then calling to, decided to call to Dinesh Mukherjee. Okay, then he also gave his, is he said anything against? No, he also said about something for the, is it against or for? Yes, for his journey. Right. Okay, then we can discuss our third part. All of you listen. After lunchtime, Bibin Babu realized that he couldn't possibly carry on sitting at his desk and working. This had never happened in the 25 years he had been with the firm. Okay, he became upset. Okay, how many years experience? 25 years experience. Okay, then he had a reputation for being a tireless, conscientious and worker, but today his head was in a whirl. Okay, then conscientious here means what is that? Careful and correct, and he become upset. Okay, he started to think, okay, what happened to him? Has his memory going to cheat him? Like that. Then back home at 2:30, Bibin Babu lay down in the bed and tried to gather his wits together. Tried to gather his wits together means he just tried to think again, and in a same, that means he just refreshed and he just started to think again and gather his wits together. He knew that it was possible to lose one's memory through an injury in the head. Okay, then, but he didn't know of a single instance of someone remembering everything except one particular incident, and a fairly recent and significant one at that. He had always wanted to go to Ranchi, to have gone there, done things, and not to remember was something utterly impossible. At 7:30, Bibin Babu's servant came and announced, "Chunni Babu, sir, says it's very important." Bibin Babu knew what Chunni had come for. Chunni Lal had been at school with him, schoolmates. Then who came there at that time? Chunni Babu. Okay, Chunni Babu came for asking something. Okay, then servant said that Chunni Babu, sir, says it is very important. He is came to meet you. He is come to meet you. Then here, he had been having a rough time lately and had been coming to see him about a job. He wanted a job. That's why Chunni Babu come again and again to him. Okay. Bibin Babu knew it was not possible to do anything for him and in fact told him so. But Chunni kept turning up like a bad penny. That means he was turning up like a bad penny. What does it mean? Yes, appearing at a place where one is not welcome. Okay, for what he came like that? Because he wanted a job. It's a bad time to him. That's why he came to Bibin Babu for asking a job. And Bibin Babu sent word that not only was it not possible for him to see Chunni now, but not in several weeks. But as soon as the servant stepped out of the room, it struck Bibin Babu that Chunni might remember something about 58 trip. Okay, then he just started to avoiding Chunni Babu. Then he understood that surely maybe Chunni Babu may know about his trip. And there was no harm in asking him. That means there is nothing happen if I ask him about that trip. Then Bibin Babu hurried down the stairs and into the living room. Chunni was about to leave, but seeing Bibin Babu appear, he turned round hopefully. Okay, then he think that there is a chance for a job. That's why Bibin Babu came. Bibin Babu didn't beat about the bush. Means came straight to the point. He didn't say anything more, but he just directly asked, "Listen, Chunni, I want to ask you something. You have a good memory, I think, okay? And you have been seeing me off and on for a long time, always. Off and on means surely now and then, okay? Then just throw your mind back and tell me, did I go to Ranchi in 58? Chunni said, 58? It must have been 58, or was it 59? You are sure that I did go to Ranchi? Chunni's look of amazement was not unmixed with worry. Do you mean you have doubts about having gone to all? Did I go? Do you remember clearly? Chunni sat down on the sofa and fixed Bibin Babu with a long, hard stare and said, "Bibin, have you taken to drugs or somethings? As far as I know, you had a clean records where such things were concerned. Then have you drunk or anything? Okay, drugs. Then why you are asking like this? Then I know that you have a clean record. What does it mean? Clean concern means you are a good person, a clean person, I thought. Then I know that old friendships don't mean much to you, but at last you had a good memory. Then you can't really mean that you have forgotten about Ranchi trip?" Bibin Babu had turned away from Chunni's. Then irritated, what happened here? Listen, Bibin Babu had to turn away from Chunni's incredulous stare. Then he just Then what happened to him? What happened to you? Then I think that you are a clean person. Then have you drunk or anything? Okay. Then do you remember what my last job was? Asked Chunilal. Of course, you worked in a travel agency. Then Chunilal take this moment. That means this time, that means he just spoil the condition of Bibin Babu. Then you remember, of course you worked in a travel agency. You remember that, and you don't remember that it was I who fixed up your railway booking for Ranchi. I went to the station to see you off. One of the fans in your compartment was not working. I got an electrician, all of you listen, I got an electrician to fix it. Have you forgotten everything? Whatever is the matter with you, you don't look too well, you know. Then what happened you? Then I arranged that fan also and everything there. Then what happened you are not well? Bibin Babu sighed and shook his head. I have been working too hard, he said at last. I have been working too hard. That must be the reason. Must see about consulting a specialist. Okay. Then doubtless it was Bibin's condition which made Chunilal leave without mentioning anything about job. Then by understanding the condition of Bibin Babu, Chunilal didn't ask anything about his job and all. He just left that place. Then Paresh Chanda was the young physician with a pair of bright eyes and sharp nose. He became thoughtful when he heard about Bibin Babu's symptoms. Okay, then look, Dr. Chanda, said Bibin Babu desperately, you must cure me of this horrible illness. I can't tell you how it is affecting my work. Okay, please cure me, please treat me well, otherwise I can't say that how it affect my job. Okay, listen. Dr. Chanda shook his head. You know what, Mr. Chowdhury, he said, I have never had to deal with a case such as yours. Okay, I never deal with such a case like this. And all of you listen. Case such as yours. Frankly, this is quite outside my field of experience. But I have one suggestion. I don't know if it will work, but it is worth a try. It can do no harm. Then I have one idea for curing. I can help you with this idea. Bibin Babu leaned forward and anxiously, as far as I can make out, Dr. Chanda said that what he said, and think you are for the same opinion. You must have been to Ranchi, and due to some unknown reason, the entire episode has slipped out of your mind. Okay, it's everything went, maybe some unknown reason, everything slipped, everything left from your mind. What I suggest is that you go to Ranchi once again, and the sight of the place may remind you for your trip. And this is not impossible, more than that I cannot do at the moment, because I think it's better to go again to Ranchi. Okay, then that places maybe remind you or create memories of your last trip maybe. Okay, more than that I cannot do at the moment. I am prescribing a nerve tonic and a tranquilizer. Okay, tranquilizer medicine to reduce stress and anxiety. Sleep is essential, or the symptoms will get more pronounced. That means surely you want to sleep well, otherwise it will increase. Bibin Babu felt somewhat better the next morning. After breakfast, he rang up his office. He gave some instructions and then got a first class ticket for Ranchi for the same evening. Okay, then what he did again, he just he want to remember that episode. That's what he decided to Yes, visit again to Ranchi. Okay, all of you. Then we are going to discuss our comprehension check. Okay, then who was Chunilal? Then give me who was Chunilal and what did he want to, what did he want from Bipin Babu? Then Chunilal had been school, then Chunilal is a friend of Bipin Babu and he had been passing through financial trouble those days. That means he has bad days. Okay, in the case of money, bad days means he was he can't use, that means he can't afford for his leave. Then why we can write he had been passing through financial trouble those days. He had been coming to see Bipin Babu for a job. Okay, then which is the next? Why was Dr. Chanda puzzled? Dr. Chanda puzzled because he had never dealt with this type of a case. Okay, then what was unusual about Bipin Babu's loss of memory? Then he knew that people lose their memory and forget about the past, and the unusual thing about the Bipin Babu, what is that? Loss of memory was they remembered everything except his supposed trip to Ranchi. Then it is another thing is that, what is that? Unusual about this journey is that it is, give me, he can remember everything except his journey to his, everything except his supposed trip to Ranchi. Okay, all of you take your notebook and write. Second question, Dr. Chanda was puzzled because, write answer now, no need to write questions, just write that answer only now. Speed up. Dr. Chanda was puzzled because he had never, Dr. Chanda was puzzled because he had never dealt with a case like dealt with a case like that of Bipin Babu. That of Bipin Babu. Full stop. He knew that people lost their memory. Speed up. He knew that people lost their memory and forget about the past. Full stop. The unusual thing about Bipin Babu's loss of memory, that the unusual thing about Bipin Babu's loss of memory was that he remembered everything except his supposed trip to Ranchi. Okay, then read the chapter, read this third part well and study the question answers and everything. Okay. You want to study, then every day I told you that you want to update your studies and all. Okay, getting off the train at Ranchi next morning, he realizes at once that he had never been there before. Okay, he realizes that he never been there. Now he was in Ranchi. Then he realizes that he was not. He realized at once that he had never been there before. He came out of the station, took a taxi and drove around the town for a while. Okay, then he realized that the streets, the building, the hotel, the bazaars, the Morbadi hills, and with none of these had the slightest acquaintance would a trip to Hundro Falls help. Then here, sorry, there is some problem, that is why I couldn't the correct words. Okay, again we can read. He came out of the station, took at the taxi and drove around the town for a while, and he realized that the streets, the building, everything strange to him. Okay, then here the slightest acquaintance. Acquaintance means there is no familiarity between him and these places. And would a trip to Hundroville its help? It's another question. Then I didn't believe so, but at the same time he didn't wish to leave with the feeling that he hadn't tried enough. And so he arranged for car and left for Hudro in the afternoon. At 5 o'clock, the same afternoon, Hudro, two Gujarati gentlemen from group of picnickers discovered Bibin Babu laying unconscious beside the boulder. Okay, when he came round, and the first Bibin Babu said was, "I am finished, there is no hope left." Okay, unconscious, who find out him? Then Gujarati gentleman understood that here Bibin Babu unconscious because he thinking he thought every times. Okay, that's why there is no hope left. Next morning, Bibin Babu was back to Calcutta. He realized that there was truly no hope for him. Soon he would lose everything. His will to work, his confidence, his ability, and his balance of mind. Was he going to end up then asylum at? Then Bibin Babu couldn't think anymore. What happened? Then he tried. Then he visited Ranchi again. Again means he just only because of the advice of Dr. Chanda, he again visited Ranchi. He not again visited. He visited Ranchi for waiting for retrieving his memory, but again he failed. Okay, everything lost. Back to home, he rang up Dr. Chanda and asked him to come over. Then after a shower, he got into bed with an ice bag clamped his head. And just then the servant brought him a letter which someone had left in the letter box. Okay, then what happened him? He called, then again he returned to home and he called to Dr. Chanda and for asking him to come here. Okay, then he called him there, and after his wash and all, what he see? His servant gave one letter, a greenish envelope with his name in red ink on it. Above the name of that, what is that? There is one problem here surely. Okay, then all of you listen care in your textbook. Above the name of that great and it is very secret and they are confidential, and in spite of this condition, Bibin Babu had feeling that he ought to go through the letter, and this is read, and what is that? All of you read that. Read page number 69, last paragraph about the name. Read it. Okay. Okay, then here, dear Bibin, what is that? Dear Bibin, I had no idea that affluence would bring about the kind of change in you that it has done. Was it so difficult for you to help out an old friend down on his leg? I have no money, so my resources are limited. What I have is imagination, a part of which I used in retribution of your unfeeling behavior. Well, you will be all right again now. A novel I have written is being considered by a publisher. If he likes it enough, it will see me through the next few months. What happened? Read again that letter. Dear Bibin, I had no idea that affluence would bring about the kind of change in you that it has done. Okay, was it so difficult for you to help out an old friend whose debtor that is old friend? Yes, Chunilal did like that. Okay, then down on is just like a punishment. Who did this all things? Who arranged this all things? This that means who said about his journey, that means about that, who imagined, okay, who imagined this trap, who created this trap? Yes, Chunilal. Okay, I have no money, so my resources are limited, but I have his imagination, a part of which I used in retribution. That means as a punishment of your unfeeling behavior. What is the unfeeling behavior? He went to Bebin Babu for getting a job, but his unfeeling, his misbehavior tempted who Chunilal to did like this. Okay, then introduce that, he just introduced one journey like this, but he never went there. Who hears here Bibin Babu, but he want to, he just suppose he want to go there in his mind, but he didn't do that. But here used that, by using that thing, who blackmailed, yes, Chunilal blackmailed here, Chunilal blackmailed Bibin Babu. Okay, then well, you will be alright again now. A novel I have written is being considered by publisher. If he likes it enough, it will see me through the next few months. Okay, yours, Chunilal. When Dr. Chanda came, Bibin Babu said, I am fine. It all came back as soon as I got off train to Ranchi. But what he said to Chanda, Dr. Chanda, yes, everything I got when I got off to train at Ranchi. A unique case, said Dr. Chanda. I shall certainly write about it in a medical journal. Surely I will write these all things in our medical journal. The reason why I sent you, said Bibin Babu, is that I have a pain in the hip of a fall I had in Ranchi. If you could prescribe a painkiller, then here Bibin Babu said that, for what I call you here, do you know that? Yes, there is a pain. I want a painkiller. Then I have a pain in the hip from the fall I had in Ranchi. Then I have a pain in the hip. That's why I want a painkiller. I am all right now. Nothing happened. Everything retrieved. I am now. Okay. Then I got everything returned. I got everything. Then no need to worry about. Then I am fine. Then but I want a painkiller. Okay. Then all of you, I think you understood who behind this story. Story, that means imagination. Yes, here Chunilal is behind this imagination. Had Bibin Babu really lost his memory and forgotten all about the trip to Ranchi? No, right, has really lost his memory. No, nothing happened. It's only by the trick, of our, no, Bibin Babu had not lost his memory at all, and in fact he had never made a trip to Ranchi. As such, there was no question of forgetting it. Okay, the next, why do you think Chunilal did what he did? Chunilal did what he did, and Chunilal says, he says no money. What is that he does have? Then I think here Chunilal, okay, you can write your own options. Okay, all of you. Then it's a simple chapter. Read again this chapter. Okay, only it's a story of, it's really who imagined, who created these all things. Yes, Chunilal arranged everything because he has that imagination. Okay, all of you read that chapter. Inshallah, we can discuss the question answers in our next class. Okay, thank you.